Well, hi. What's up, everybody? It's Drew, and I am coming to you from my basement. I am super annoyed with myself because I just finished recording a video only to find out that my microphone is muted. So I gotta start over again. It'll probably be a little shorter. Not the first time it's happened either. I am not a professional. So we're going to talk. I've got another update on the market context engine, which is the trading script that I have been working on diligently for, Jesus, probably about 6 months at this point. Some major updates, like a lot to talk about, but I'm going to try and pack it in pretty quickly. I'm also going to give everybody a setup. One of the best performers out of the course of my research, all of my data back tested research. I'm going to share one of those setups with you that you can use on your own. Otherwise, of course, if you're interested, the script is capable of finding those for you. So let's get into the good stuff, shall we? So happy for, I think we missed it now, 421. Happy 421. All right, so what do I want to talk about today with the MCE? Market Context Engine highlights. It is deeply data supported. I have put a ton of time into gathering, scraping, manipulating, aggregating, and creating new signals to find the performance that I'm about to show you guys about. I'm super psyched about how things have been going. What are the highlights here? Now, some of these numbers are a little bit off. I've done some tweaks since I put the slides together, and I'm now realizing that I should have come through and update these. They're not major changes, but so on aggregate over the last 12 months, the entire script, the entire portfolio is averaging about a 72% win rate. We're over a 2% profit factor, I think closer to 3 after some of the recent adjustments. The maximum drawdown over the course of that 12 months, the maximum drawdown, the most that any trade lost was $2.2 or $2,200. And I think that's actually now dropped down to $1,900. So we are making a ridiculous drawdown to profit ratio right now, the best by far. I was thrilled with 10% before. I'm now approaching 2%, which is pretty great. And yeah, over $100,000. I think 98,000 after some of the tweaks I mentioned earlier. So like, yes, some minor changes here, mostly. And this is just sort of a trade-off thing, right? I am optimizing for higher win rates and better profit performance, fewer trades, in order to sort of reduce the risk as much as possible on the trades. And we're looking at about 100 trades per month right now. So the volume is good, the performance is great, the risk is extremely advantageous. I am thrilled. And if that doesn't impress you, then that's cool. But I think it's fantastic. So as I mentioned, today I'm going to show you a setup that the script is using. Is called, its initials are VB, it stands for VWAP bounce. I will give you the conditions that the trade or that the script itself is looking for. You can use these in your day-to-day trading if you're not, don't have access to the alerts. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the journey that I've been on with the creation. I know that I've given some information in the previous videos about, you know, what it's taken to get here, you know, kind of the different iterations of the other scripts. I think some of the biggest changes that that we can talk about from the last video is that I was really dealing with like 1 or 2 setups in the last video. By the way, those are all gone. I have implemented substantially more rigorous barriers to getting into the script. We're now up to about 8 different setups. Sorry, I had to do a little counting there. 8 different setups that made it into the production script. One of which, VB, is not the best. It is the 3rd best performer, but it is the highest volume to win rate percentage. So it is a trade that you can expect to show up several times per month. Over the course of the last 12 months, it fired off 38 times. It was correct. It won 34 of those 38 times for an average of $393 per trade. So almost $400 per trade each time this one fires off. Now, granted, that may require you to size up to a couple, but as I mentioned in the previous video, this script is only trading MNQ, mini NQ, I'm sorry, micro NQ. And so I think I made the same mistake in the last video, the micro NQ. And so that is the only thing this script is trying to find. It is not scanning for other scripts. It is not trying to trade SPY or anything else. Only MNQ, full stop. Okay. But if you are a futures trader, or if you're interested in futures, or if you like trading QQQ, these patterns tend to echo fairly closely. So you can use the alerts from this indicator to trade QQQ equities or options if you're so inclined. They do tend to stick pretty well together, and that is up to you. But I'm just being very forthwith with what this script is attempting to be good at. So I do want to talk about overfitment a little bit. One of the big changes from the last script, as I mentioned, is that, you know, previously we were dealing with a couple of setups. Now we got 8. One of the things I realized as I was building out the portfolio is that there's a lot of butterfly effect. The way that the setups impact each other, and I was busy ripping out all of the setups that were basically built on overfitment, which means that they perform very well in specific conditions, but when the conditions change, they tend to suffer. I didn't like that. So when I went back and rebuilt our framework on more durable signals, I had basically started bailing water from all the overfitment plays, really only looking for best fit plays, things that could survive a 5-year look back period. And the majority of the backbone, what I call tier 1 setups right now, have to perform well at least 5 years out of the last 7. And as I got close to completing putting most of those tier 1 setups in place, I realized that I was kind of throwing the baby out with the bathwater. So I did come back and add some overfitment plays, with the specific caveat that they have to perform statistically, and once they stop performing statistically, they come out of rotation and I'll replace them with a different overfitment play. So the portfolio at this point is built out of long-term durable performers and a couple of things that are kind of flavor of the day setup, and I'm perfectly okay with that if they perform. As long as they do their job, as long as the numbers are matching up, we're cool. So that was my journey on overfitment. You know, didn't know about it, found out about it, hated it, brought it back in, gave it a specific job. Yeah. So, I think I did mention a little bit earlier that maybe I didn't. So version 5, we went through yet another iteration that was kind of the teardown and rebuild of the entire framework for the market recognition. V5 launched. I did launch it publicly at this point. So at this point, for the entire last week, I have been sharing alerts from this script in our Discord. I will have the link down below in the description if you're interested in joining. I think it's like $10 a month. It does not go into my pocket. It is just our keep the bots out price. So it is very reasonable for trading Discord and filled with excellent traders and my script. So you can come in there and you can get these alerts for free right now. And I'm not at this point providing access to the indicator, definitely not to the code. Still kind of trying to work through my intellectual property perspective on all this stuff, but I am comfortable sharing the alerts with folks and trying to coach into why these are working statistically right now. So let's jump in. As I mentioned, I was going to share a trade with y'all. The code name or the initials are VB, stands for VWAP bounce. What are the conditions for VWAP bounce? You can find these conditions with regular indicators on any trading platform. All you need to have is a daily SMA, right? So I prefer daily SMA 42. We're looking for daily SMA 42 length, and we want to see an upward trend with a slope. We want to see VWAP on an upward trend as well. We want to see a displacement of 2.5 ATR above VWAP and then a pullback into VWAP. This trade is long only. Do not try to find this one on the short side. For whatever reason, statistically, it only works long. I'm just here, whatever the data says, I'm into it, man. So those are the conditions that we're looking for. You want to see it pull back into VWAP and then you go long. It's that simple. Here's what it looks like on a chart. So this is live chart. This is actually this is the script trading those conditions right there. You can see that we've got the move over. So I know you can't see the daily moving average, but trust me, there's a moving slope. You can kind of tell from the VWAP bars here. But we have our displacement. We come back in, we go long, we take the ride up, and then we exit here after a profit with the pullback. This is a dynamically traded, no, let me see here. No, this is a dynamically traded setup. So you can set this up with a 2 ATR stop and 3 ATR target if you want to play it static. Otherwise, you can just move the stop up. Clearly, we could have captured a little bit more here, but we pulled back down, left with a profit, and then re-entered again before the end of the market day and opened up with a gap overnight and took a nice profit at the top of the bar there. This is what VWAP bounce looks for. As I mentioned, I think in the screenshot here, it says that VWAP bounce wins 76% of the time. Right now, as I'm looking at the indicator, it is about 89.5% effective. So it wins almost 90% of the time. That is over the course of 12 months. That is 38 trades. So pretty great statistics. As I mentioned, $400 per trade. So it's solid. It's yours. Enjoy it. All right. Quick bounce through. Yeah, this is the 1-year trade of VB. This is the trade performance of this particular setup, and as you can see, it's a bit bursty, right? So you're playing these very small drawdowns in order to get these big updrafts, right? So you can see that it hits in a couple of huge trades here, and the maximum drawdown is about $1,100, but we made 15,000 over the course of the 12 months. And as I mentioned earlier, these setups all had to go through pretty rigorous back testing. So this one had to survive 5 years. We back tested them for 7. 5 years statistically was just easier to show and performance wise. So you can see that this does struggle in certain market conditions, right? But on average, we're catching the big updrafts here on a consistent basis that are pushing this thing up into extremely real nice performance over the course of 5 years. So overall aggregate, MCE over the course of the last 12 months did about $100,000 in P&L with a maximum drawdown of under $2,000. So that is by far the best drawdown to profit ratio I've had with any of the things I've built so far, like by a landslide. I was thrilled by like a 10% margin before. We're now down to like 2%. 2% drawdown on $100,000. That's outstanding, gang. So yeah, I'm pretty psyched about this. These are numbers. This is math that I'm into. So if you're interested in seeing whether this is too good to be true or not, as I mentioned, this is playing out in real time, live every day, and I am going to, succeed or fail in public in full view of everybody. So far, things are working out okay. So just showing you a quick screenshot of what it looks like in operation. So this is the script. You can see that we've got our performance table here, the little dashboard at the top, our 12-month performance over the course since last April 2025. And we're just taking trades here on the regular. So just a quick screenshot or a quick zoom in on some of the components that are part of the indicator of the strategy. Clearly, you can see the trades being taken here. You can see the initials that stands for the crossing bounce short. That is us coming out of a trade. The little O is out. And then here is a fire starter short in, and you can see that came down here and exited profitably. So you can see that the trades are taking place on the chart here. Just below that is the overall performance. I am tracking aggregate performance over the course of those 12 months. So this is the real-time metrics of each of those setups, how they are performing. Now, something you can't tell from this table is that these setups are self-selecting. Not all these setups are firing all day long. They wait for certain conditions and they will take themselves out completely. If it's a trending play and we're in a non-trending day, you will see that they just go blank. They're not trying to trade in conditions that are not optimal for them. All of these setups are looking and trained and configured only to fire when they are going to be profitable. And you can see the win rates are pretty solid across the board. CS is kind of lagging right now. But everybody else is 70 plus. And yeah, and CS is, yeah, it was kind of the initial backbone of the script. And over the course of discovery, has managed to kind of fall off a little bit. And but it is one of the all-weather backbones. So it is not necessarily bringing home the bacon right now, but it has been very consistent. It does have a great back testing record, so it's going to stay in the setup here long term. Whereas setups like GS are definitely more of that kind of flavor of the day overfitment that I told you about. Great, it's bringing in $9,300, but it's going to start to fail at some point. And when the metrics here start to taper off, I will simply take it out and put something else in that's working in current conditions. There's a little data window here. This is some of the data that I've created or synthesized in order for the setups to look for their optimal conditions. And then ultimately this dashboard here that kind of perches itself up in the upper right-hand corner of the indicator, that is really just given a snapshot of market conditions. So it's talking about the different zones. The zones are sort of the way that I've gone about building out my market framework. It is built on anchored moving averages from higher time frames and some additional kind of pixie dust. We've got a regime trend, which has given us our overall bias for the day, a major and minor trend, major and minor structure, momentum, and then a setup countdown that is giving me a sense of if we're getting close to maybe taking a trade, or if we're looking, if we're getting into conditions where some of the short trades or some of the long trades are starting to think that they might have an opportunity. So it just lets me know if I'm, if I need to be on my toes for a short or a long. And then finally, as I mentioned, I have rolled out Discord alerts. So this is what the alerts look like. They are given a brief synopsis and thesis on what trade is taking place. What is that trade looking for? What is the stops? What are the targets? In the cases when I'm doing dynamic trading or dynamic stop management, I am posting alerts when the stop updates occur. So it'll let you know if the script has moved a stop up in order to protect profits. On some of these trades that are a little swingier, where they've got larger average profits, they can get a little noisy with the trade stops, but they are consistently looking for the conditions in order to determine when to tighten that dynamic trail. So it's not just a static running trail of like 3 ATR. It's kind of it's a whole thing that's looking for different market conditions. And so we tighten when things are looking iffy, and we loosen when things are running hard. And the stats so far are looking really great. So that is all available in the Discord. And just a quick view, here's the actual live trade results. And look, I'm not going to tell you guys that I'm hitting 100% of trades. I've made it very clear here that I'm pretty happy with 70+%. But that of course means that 30% of those trades are going to lose, right? And that's okay, right? We are talking about statistical averages here. We're looking for an edge. And I'm not trying to sell anybody anything that sounds like 100%, 100% win rate. So yeah, there's my losses in red. And as I mentioned in the Discord, my alerts, they'll tell you if they lost. The alerts will come out. I'll tell you if I won or lost a trade. They'll tell you what the profit was, what the take was. It is very transparent. And I'm doing this partially to hold myself accountable too. So I'm not interested in setting out some alerts and using some magic to try and make it look like I know what I'm doing. I spent a lot of time building this tool. The tool is highly accurate. It is highly back tested. It is statistically performant. And I'm doing it in public. So you guys can come hold me accountable if you want to. So if you're interested in coming out to the Discord, as I mentioned, I think it's like $10 a month. I will put the link down below. That does not go into my pocket. That is just a general kitty for the server, and we use that to buy resources for the other traders. We got a bunch of fantastic traders, so you're welcome to come and hang out with us. It is free to access my alerts right now. So if you're interested, you can come in. You can ask for access to my channel. That is where these alerts are being posted daily. And there are daily summaries. So if you just want to watch them for a little bit and see how they're going, you can absolutely do that as well. So that's kind of the overview. I will call it here. Thank you guys very much for stopping out. And I will be back with another video here, I don't know, a few more weeks. I'll give you an update on how things are going. I'll tell you a little bit of my live trading, and I'll have some more stats for you, maybe another setup. So that's what I know for now. Hope you guys trade safely. We'll talk more soon. Cheers, gang.